There was one day when we were driving and a Nirvana song came on, and my daughter Harper, who's 12 years old, she said, "What was Kurt like?"
Talking of kind of looking back, and that's part of the book, the fact that Nevermind has celebrated its 30th anniversary recently. It's such a seminal album and it's loved by so many people. It's a game changer around the world. But for you, Dave, being in the band, does it feel like 30 years ago, or is it a case where it just feels like yesterday?
It feels like lifetimes ago. I feel like I've lived a few lifetimes since then, but I don't necessarily feel any different than I did then. I was 22 when that record came out. I feel 22 until I look in the mirror. I'm like, oh, I'm not 22 anymore. But no, I mean, to me, Nirvana really was three people with some instruments that made a big noise. And we drove around in vans and we played in clubs and we did things like that. And then it became something else. You know, I look at Nirvana much differently than someone else might. But, you know, it's become such a big part of popular culture. So everywhere I go, I see it. I mean, I'll walk down the street and I'll see, a 12-year-old kid in a Nirvana t-shirt. And then I'll get in the car and a Nirvana song comes on. And then, you know, every 5 years there's an anniversary and I talk about it. And I love talking about it. It's great. So it's kind of taken on this much larger life than it did when we were just three guys driving around in a van. But yeah, I mean, I'm 52 years old now. And back then, I never imagined that I would still be here doing this still 30 years later. I feel like I might need to sort of branch off and find another line of work.
Talk about seeing 12-year-olds wearing Nirvana t-shirts. I see that myself all of the time. What about when you hear Smells Like Teen Spirit come on the radio or something like that? Does it evoke special memories for you? Or do you hear those songs so frequently because they are omnipresent that it just kind of washes over you in a way?
When I hear a Nirvana song on the radio, I remember what it felt like sitting in the chair as we were recording it. Like I remember when Butch Vig said like, okay, we're rolling. And then it's like, wow, and I'm like, I remember, I can see it in my head as we were doing it. I was facing the control room and I could see Butch and Kurt was over there and Chris was over. So when I hear those songs, I have a much more sort of like vivid personal memory of how it was made and when we made it. So there was a long time where a song would come on and I would just turn it off. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Bring back like really difficult memories. But now, you know, like I'll be driving with my kids in the car, a Nirvana song will come on and they'll start singing it and they know the words and we don't listen to it at home, you know, but somehow it's become a part of their lives now. And it's cool. Actually, there was one day, this is really beautiful. There was one day when we were driving and a Nirvana song came on and my daughter Harper, who's 12 years old, she said, Dad, how old were you when you were in this band? I said, well, I was probably 21 or 22 when we recorded it. It was Come As You Are. And she was singing along with the song. And she said, what was Kurt like? And I said, he was very sweet. You know, he's kind of shy, you know, a little reserved and could be sort of quiet. And she said, wow, was he shy to people he didn't know or to people he did know? And I said, well, a little bit of both. And she said, wow, that's really interesting that someone that could be so shy could write these songs and stand in front of hundreds of thousands of people and sing them. And I thought, what a beautiful insight for a 12-year-old who's also a little shy to consider that. But it was really cool because she was asking me about my life then because she wanted to understand it through the music. I thought it was very, very cool. But I'm watching them experience it and learn it now. And it's crazy. It's this an entirely different generation 30 years later who still will listen to that record and feel the same as a kid did back then.